Hi guys, what's up? Tori here. So I am here today with my 14-week pregnancy update. I am 14 weeks and 3 days today. Today would be Tuesday, June 16th. And yeah, I'm just gonna kind of update you on where everything is at. So we'll first start out with baby's updates. So baby is now about 3.5 inches long, or the size of a beet. And has about doubled in weight since last week. It's like over an ounce in weight now. So, getting there, starting to grow, and it's just gonna start like putting on even more and more weight from here on out, which means, belly will probably start growing a little bit and all of that too. Baby is now moving a lot more, even though I still can't feel it yet because baby's still a little too small. But baby can now squint, frown, and suck its thumb at this point. And its liver, spleen, and kidneys continue to develop and function better. And it is now producing white blood cells, and its immune system is developing more. So that's good. That's really cool and good to know. Baby will be well equipped for this world once it's ready to be born. So that's everything for baby this week. And now I'm going to talk about me in this last week. So first off, I'm going to mention that last week was a little bit of a rough week, not really so much pregnancy wise, but just from the standpoint of last week, Tuesday night. So literally a week ago today, it was last week, Tuesday night around 7 o'clock, our power went out. We had a huge storm around here, and there was a tree that supposedly fell on a power line, and it knocked out our power, and we were without power from Tuesday night at around 7 o'clock p.m., and we did not get our power back until Friday night at around 10 o'clock p.m. So we were literally 3 days without power, and it was especially last week Wednesday, it was like in the 90s, and it was humid last week Wednesday. I ended up not staying around the house because it was just too hot for me to stay around the house without air conditioning and being pregnant and everything. I've noticed that since being pregnant, I get hot really quick, and as soon as I start to get hot, I get really uncomfortable and just start not feeling well. So I did not stay around here Wednesday. I ended up spending the day hanging out with my sister by her house, and then Thursday and Friday I spent both of those days hanging out by my aunt's house during the day, just to be somewhere where there was air conditioning and where I could stay cooler and more comfortable, and also just be able to do more in general, because you can't do anything when you don't have power. You can't cook, you can't plug things into, I can't use my vacuum, I couldn't do anything around here. So yeah. And my husband has a small generator that he was able to keep our sub pump going, so that way our basement didn't flood. And then he also made sure to plug in our refrigerator periodically too, just to make sure to keep things cold in there so everything didn't go bad, which actually went fine. There really wasn't anything that went bad in our fridge. There's maybe a couple of things that I had to throw out, but they were already things that had been in there for a little while, so that was good. But because of the power going out, I had one night, Wednesday night, because that was the day that it was the warmest. Wednesday night, and we ended up having to go out for dinner because I couldn't cook, so we went out to dinner that night. And I think it might have been a combination of the takeout food and too it just being really warm. I did not feel good that night at all. I felt horrible and just nasty, and it was not good. And so with I pretty much, it was just kind of I just felt sick, nauseous kind of, and just really uncomfortable, and I was really emotional, and the power being out totally completely threw off my routine. I was getting back into such a good, healthy routine, and I was feeling really good about myself. I was doing a little bit of exercise every day. I was eating super good. I actually had lost a couple of pounds that maybe were extra that I really didn't need to put on in the first trimester, and I was feeling super good about myself. And then the power went out, and it just threw off my entire routine because there was so much I couldn't do. I couldn't cook, and we had to play things so much by ear and play things one moment, 1 hour, one day at a time. So it just threw me off, and it made me super emotional. Like, I was a basket case, I won't lie. I don't deny it. And like, my husband too even was like super frustrated and annoyed over the whole thing. Like, him and I both were not at our best. I definitely was not. Like, part of it was pregnancy hormones, and also just in general emotionalness and being annoyed and pissed and frustrated over our power. And my husband was too, and we both like had a moment where it was like we couldn't stand each other. I mean, we eventually obviously did talk it out, work it out, and we're fine and totally better. But we had our moment, and like, we have issues with our power going out all the time anyway, so we're now looking into options on hopefully like helping that problem, especially once this baby is here. So there was that. So then now we're going to move on to some other things. I actually threw up for the very first time in this pregnancy. It was actually on Sunday. I made the desserts for my family Sunday dinner, and I decided to have a little slice of peanut butter pie, and baby apparently did not want the peanut butter pie because it came right back out. It was the first time I actually threw up. And I don't know, I'm still kind of in debate if it was 100% baby not liking the pie, or if it also maybe was a slight combination of my weight loss surgery acting up too, that maybe I just was a little bit fuller than I realized, and then eating the pie just like kind of like I had put too much in my system, and so the pie is just kind of what came back up because it was the last thing I put in. Or it could have totally been a combination of both too. So it's one of those, like, I'm not entirely certain, but yeah, so I did want to bring that up too. I have noticed I have been feeling a little bit more tired in this last week. It could be because of having our power issues and stuff. Like, I also wasn't getting the greatest sleep and stuff, so that could be a factor in it, and obviously pregnancy can play a factor in that too. But I have noticed I've been a little more tired. I've actually been taking like little naps here and there a bit more often. But overall, I gotta say I'm really still feeling pretty good. Like, I honestly, like, in like the times that I didn't feel good, like there was like reasons like other reasons that play into it. Like, honestly, like that night that I didn't feel good, Wednesday night, like I don't think I would have had any issues if our power hadn't gone out at all. Like, if I was still on my normal routine, I don't think I would have had any issues. And now that I'm starting to kind of get back into a routine again, like, I am starting to feel myself feel a little bit better again. So hopefully, like, we can just keep things that way now, and like there won't be any other major things to like throw me off or anything. But like, and two, with like the still feeling pretty good, like I am officially, like, being 14 weeks, I am officially completely totally in my second trimester now. So like, I'm first trimester is totally behind me, I'm in my second trimester. So yeah. And then the last thing I want to bring up is I have noticed a few like side effects from taking my Lovenox. For one, I definitely bruise very easily. I've noticed that, like, even just from taking my Lovenox shot, like I get little bruises, which is totally normal, not anything. But the other thing I noticed is I had one time where I was brushing my teeth and my gums were bleeding a little bit, which also can be a normal pregnancy symptom. And like, they only bled a tiny bit, and it only like lasted for like a couple of seconds, and then like I just spit a couple times and then it stopped. It was done. It's not like I kept bleeding or anything. It just lasted a couple seconds. And the other thing I noticed was this past Saturday when my husband and I were eating dinner. I went to, like, my nose always runs when I eat hot food, and I went to go blow my nose, and my husband goes, "Oh, that Lovenox must be working, those blood thinners must be working good." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Your nose is bleeding a tiny bit." And like, I looked in my napkin that I just blew my nose in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there was like a tiny little bit of blood there." And then like I wiped and like blew again, and like there was a tiny bit more blood, and then like that was it. There was nothing more. Like, it was not like an actual full-on bloody nose or anything. It was just kind of a little bit, which I do struggle with allergies a little bit this time of year, so it could have been a bit of a dry nose allergy thing as well, and the Lovenox kind of just, plays a part into that. So I have noticed those couple of little things, but it hasn't been bad, major. I mean, it's definitely things I'll bring up to my doctor at my next appointment, but it's at this point not like concerning me too terribly much. So yeah. But that is everything symptom-wise, and pretty much everything update-wise on how this pregnancy is going and all that. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get into the bump shot next, because yeah, that's all the updates I got. There, so we'll go ahead and show you the bump. This shirt that I'm wearing is, hold on, I gotta back this chair up more if I can. This room is kind of a mess at the moment because I'm getting ready to paint in here, but I'm wearing a much more flowy shirt today. This is an actual maternity shirt, and I'm just wearing a pair of leggings, but this is with the shirt down, facing forward, to the side, and to the side. You can't really see much, but now I'll go ahead and lift my shirts, I should say. I always wear a tank top, as you guys probably have noticed, but yes, and then this is with the shirt up. I'll go ahead and kind of roll things down so you can see good here, but facing forward, as you can see, like, these are all bruises from like where I give myself my Lovenox shot. Sometimes I do it in my belly, sometimes I do it in my legs, but that's what these bruises are. But yeah, it's facing forward, facing to the side, and facing to the side. I definitely still don't have like a major bump. Like, I know I definitely can feel like it's starting, which I've been saying this like every week for the last couple of weeks. But I definitely think I'm gonna be one of those women that like I'll suddenly just pop and look like majorly pregnant. So I don't know. I'll let you guys determine just how pregnant I'm looking now. But yeah, definitely, I mean, there's a little something starting, you know. At times, definitely, like I said, like by the end of the day, it looks more so prominent than at the beginning of the day, just because like bloat is there. But yeah, so that is the bump and everything for this week. Like I said, I'm hoping to start painting the nursery in here. That's why things are kind of a mess and cramped together. But yeah, that's everything for this week. No other major updates. There will be an extra fun video coming up hopefully next week along with next week's update. And then I also will mention that I'm going to be going on vacation in a couple of weeks, so I'll probably skip 1 week and then end up just putting a couple of weeks together. We'll see. But yes, so I'm gonna end this video here before it gets any longer. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions or anything, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.